Good morning, y'all. Happy Monday. I'm excited to be kicking off the week with y'all. If you have not got the notice, we have been trying to let you know. We send out emails and texts and all the things and some posts on social media. But this week we are doing 1 week full of lives for both adults and kiddos. So y'all know that's what we do at our studio. That's what we do on our online memberships. We provide lessons and different things for both adults and kids. And so this week we thought we'd just have some fun with it. So you are here at the 10 o'clock hour. Welcome, welcome. It's 10 o'clock Central Time. And every day at 10 this week. Hey, Stacy, I'm glad you're on here. And Tracy, every day at 10, we are just going to be doing peace and play. Now, if you are in our lettering club or our Paint and Praise membership, you hear me talk about peace and play all the time. We are constantly trying to give you tools in the art world that will help you have more peace and play. Because at the end of the day, that's that's more of the goal than having a beautiful piece of artwork or we are always improving our lettering, but we're not trying to enter a lettering contest. We are trying to create habits and art forms and open space for creativity that bring in the peace and the play. It's playful because you're kind of getting messy and doing new things, but also there's just something with art that brings a little bit of peace too. So every day this week we're going to be doing some peace and play. 10 a.m. Central Time. It will at 11 every day. We're going to be doing some stuff for the kids. So we have summer art camps going strong at our studio. We also have our online kids club going strong. Kids are getting new lessons every single month and looking awesome. And we thought that, hey, maybe we'll just take 1 week, simple supplies, so that if kids are at home, if mamas or grandmamas need something, some sort of structured something, you can know that every day this week at 11, we're going to be doing some fun things with kids. Now, as far as supplies go, it's nothing super fancy. The adults are a little bit more, kids are not. So this is actually a watercolor book. I painted the cover. Lettering club members, we are painting the cover tonight of just a watercolor sketchbook or a mixed media book. Okay, so this one's a watercolor. It was a Canson before I painted all over it. And it just has watercolor pages. Again, mixed media would also work. So every day we're going to be working in this both for kids and adults. So for kids, all you need is some pencils, some washable markers, and a permanent marker of sort. Okay, so some sort of permanent marker and a pencil. Adults, you're going to need those same supplies, but we're going to pull in some paint and some paint markers, some fun things like that as well with our peace and play this week. So let's get rolling. So what I want for you is, if you are setting this 10 o'clock hour aside, I want it to be a little bit of I don't want it to feel like a class. I want it to be a little bit of an experience for you. So what I say is, get you something to drink. I've got my unsweet tea here. Normally it would be coffee, but the coffee pot ran dry. We drank all of that. So I have got my unsweet tea. You can get your sweet tea. You can get your coffee. You can get your fancy tea. Get some sort of a drink that you love. Maybe put on some music. One thing I don't love about Facebook Lives is that I can't play music without it muting me because of the copyright issues. But you at home, turn on some music. If you're watching this on your computer, maybe grab your phone, open up Pandora or something and get some music going. If you've got an Alexa in the house, holler at it. Hey, Alexa, play whatever you want. Elevation Worship or whoever, just play some good music, because creating with good music, and for me, I love, praise and worship music in the background, just adds to the whole experience. So go ahead, get yourself set up. If you don't have a notebook, a watercolor piece of paper will also work for what we're doing today. So today we are just going to do lettering and journaling and very simple, getting messy, kind of watercolor with Crayola markers. Y'all know I love that technique. One thing I want to encourage you with is this, because I like the book because I don't have to worry about creating art that I think is going to go out in my house, like on the walls. A lot of times in the lettering club, we are doing very functional pieces. Like, so we did have just got these close by. So we did our acrylic, you know, we did very functional acrylic pieces that, hey, we could use this at somebody's graduation party. We could use this on a little stand at, you know, in the front doorway or something. I love creating functional pieces like that, but sometimes that puts us into a little bit of a paralyzed, like, everybody's going to see it. It's going to look great. And that's sometimes the opposite of what I want creating to be for you. So in this book, we're going to create, you're going to get messy. You're going to have fun. You're not going to worry if anybody ever sees it because they're probably not. You can use colors. These colors, y'all know I love them. I got them up here too. But out in my home, like they're not necessarily, you know, in my den. So you can use colors that just make you happy and you don't have to worry about anything that they're having to match. Okay. So that I want this just to be fun for you. So I'm going to show you what we're doing this morning, and then we're going to get to it. So I'm going to flip the pages here because I got a lot. Okay. So we are going to letter Dream Giver. Okay. Because to me, coming off of this weekend and just reflecting on so much, I just think like God is such a good God. And so many of those dreams that are planted in our hearts and other hearts that we see come to fruition, they're planted there by God. Like his purposes and the dreams that he will put into people's hearts are always about, you know, helping others. And it's just cool to see. And so we're gonna letter Dream Giver. Then we are gonna journal a little bit, where you are just journaling, you know, what dreams you've seen come to fruition, thanking God for the dreams that he did place in your heart, or in somebody else's heart that you've been benefiting from. And then I want us to pray about, you know, of new dreams, dreams that are next, something new maybe that he has given you. So this will be a little bit of journaling, and then we're just going to get messy with marker and watercolor. So y'all ready for it? Let's roll. So I'm going to open up to a blank piece of paper. I'm going to actually work a little bit on my Bristol pad for just a second, just because I think it's important to get our hands warm before going straight to this. Okay, so you don't have to be on Bristol paper. It's just what I have close by. See, you can be on copy paper. You can be on the back of an envelope, honestly. All right, so if we're going to be doing Dream Giver, let me just kind of pull it out and just show you. Got so much stuff in here. All right, so with this, do you see how it has a little bit of a curve right here? So what I did to create that is before, very lightly, I did a little bit of a curve like this, okay? Now I'm going to get my big brush pen here so that you can see a little bit better. Okay. So I would, if at home, you just be practicing with pencil, or I could press down a little harder. Let's see if you can see this. So there's my kind of curve line. So I'm going to press down a little harder, and we're going to start with a dream. So we're going to do our curve. I think y'all can see that. Yeah, you can. And then we loop up and down, and then I'm going to come high. Okay, that's kind of an all connected piece. So I looped up and down. I came high, kind of at an angle, and looped up. E. I'm just kind of staying on this light guideline that I drew for myself. Two strokes for that A. Going to come a little down here, and then one hump and two humps. And it's okay for that descender to kind of be down there. Okay, so go ahead, get that on. So next up, I'm just going to kind of fit Giver inside of here. Now with this G, let's just watch. So I'm going to kind of do a little bit of an oval. I'm going to come up. And now here, I'm not going to go straight down. I'm going to kind of come back a little bit and then over. So it's going to come back like that. So I had an oval. It extended back. We have a loop. It does not go straight down. It comes back and around. And notice I'm kind of close to this. I'm kind of wanting to fill this area in. So I've got the G, I, V. Got a lot of room here, so I need to make these big. E, and R. I want you to practice this until you start to feel good with it. And once you feel good with it, then we are going to head to our paper or watercolor pad. So again, I'm going to very lightly just sketch a guideline. I'm going to erase this later. And I'm going to kind of lightly letter in what I just practiced. Then I'm trying to find a good eraser. Y'all know I'm always short on erasers. So I penciled that in, and now I'm just going to kind of erase some of that guideline because I don't want that to be showing. Have y'all got y'all's music turned on yet? Have you? All right. Hey, Sandy from Gulf Breeze, Florida. I'm wondering if it's as hot down there as it is here. We are under heat advisories here in Alabama for all week, I believe. All right, so I've kind of got that sketched out. And at this point, you can kind of erase and redraw as often as you need to. And then you're going to need, excuse me, some sort of permanent marker. Lettering club members, y'all got these sent to you, the Faber-Castell Pitt big brush pen, so we can use this. If you don't have this, you can use a Sharpie, something that is waterproof. Now with this pen, I always test things before I even though I can read it and see that it says waterproof on here, I still like to test it. So let's see if I can show y'all where I tested it earlier, just to show you kind of the difference. Okay, so this right here is when I put it on and I added water and I didn't wait long enough for it to dry. Okay, so it was still kind of wet. This is when I did it. I gave it time to kind of sink into the paper and be dry, and then I did water on top and it didn't move. Okay, so there's going to be the difference there. So whatever pen you're using, if it's got a anything that's going to stay wet for a little bit, and you think it's waterproof, let it sit for a bit, and then you can go. All right, so I've got my waterproof pen, and I'm just going to now letter on top of this. I love this pen. All right, now I'm going to thicken the downstroke. So right here, I'll thicken all of these. And this, if you are going to go looking for a little pad to buy and you don't have one yet, I will say this is, I forgot the dimensions, but it's not as big as a regular piece of paper. So like if this is a regular piece of paper, this is a regular piece of paper, and it's up and down as big, but it's not side to side as big. Do you see how about this much is hanging off? Okay, so just letting you know that. just so you don't think you have to get the biggest one, because I actually prefer, I don't like teeny tiny. Well, I do for some things, but not for what we're doing. But this size is really a good size. All right, so we had a little fun with lettering. Oh my goodness, Donna says, good morning. It's cold this morning in Northern California. Goodness, cold is not anywhere on our radar. It's not been cold for quite some time in Alabama in this heat. All right, so now I've got a smaller permanent pen. Again, this is one that I've tested plenty of times, tried and true. To begin with, when it's a little bit wet, it will smear. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a few little lines, just kind of messy lines. And I want you to use this space to journal. Again, if I had you in real life here, I would turn music on and I wouldn't talk and I would just let you go. But because of this, we can't. But I want you to be turning some music on and just start journaling. I will tell you some of the things when I was doing this on the first time that I was just journaling. You know, thank you, God, for planting dreams inside of me that I didn't even know what would come of them. You know, Pzazz, online classes. Thank you for placing the dream of some way, somehow I wanted something that I did to be able to feed kids. I had no clue how that was going to come about. I thought at the time that I was going to paint pictures and from those sales, then, you know, then give back. I had no clue, but there was just that dream that God planted. This weekend, some of y'all may have seen on our Facebook page, but my son, he just, it was so emotional. They've had a ball team together for about 6 years, and this was their last game, because some of them are moving on to junior high. And that was a dream that was placed in my brother-in-law's heart when they were all in kindergarten and first grade was, hey, why don't we try to keep these boys together so they can, you know, work and get strong together for the next 6 years. And the bonds they've created and the friendships and the families that have come out of that, you know, it started with, you know, a dream there. I look at, you know, we're going to Honduras in another week and a half. And when I was there in March, there was a little inkling of a dream, and y'all Lettering Club members know this, of how can we help this next step program? You know, what can we do for these kids who are about to age out? And I thought, wouldn't it be so cool if we could get them iPads and teach them how to, you know, how to use their art and how to take their art and put it on product. And that way, when they left the home, all they would need is that iPad that we would gift them and Wi-Fi, and they could design. And so, y'all, thanks to some generosity of our Lettering Club members, we've got all 4 of the iPads that we are wanting to start this program with. We're taking them down there in another week and a half. We are starting that program. We are going to be doing I'm going to put it in the online format too. And it's just, it's just cool to see how not only was that dream planted, God given, he is the dream giver, you know, planting that dream, but then so many of y'all who out of your generosity, you know, who knows, like, I don't know your end of the story. Perhaps you have been wanting to give money towards something like that too, because God planted that little dream into you. But God, it's been cool just to see how all things, you know, are working together for little dreams to come to fruition. So just turn on a little bit of music if you can, and just use a few minutes just to journal. I'm going to do the same. It's going to be awkward on my end because it's quiet here. I want it to be music with you. Again, music, good cup of whatever you want, peace and play. All right. So grab a pen and just journal for maybe a few seconds. Okay. Let's see. Or you might want to say, I'll just do it when I turn this live off, and that's okay too. One thing I want to point out, when I'm journaling, I'm not trying to be like super fancy lettering. Okay. When I'm journaling, I'm chicken scratch. I'm just talking to God in letter format. Okay. It's just a way to align my thoughts. Now, once you've lettered and you've journaled and you've had your good music, we're just going to get messy on this page. We're just going to have fun with it. It needs to be watercolor paper or a watercolor pad or mixed media pad. And we are going to pull out some of our Crayola. Got all kinds of things here. So I'm going to pull out some of my colors that I want to be using. Okay, so I'm going to be using some of these colors. All right, so here we go. With the yellow, I'll do a little bit I'm hoping this is dry enough to do a little, yeah. Got a little bit of smudge on here, but it'll be all right. And I'm just scribbling, and I'm using the side of my marker. So I'm not using the tip like this. I'm using the side. And I'm just having fun, okay? This is the play. This is the play in the piece and play. You grab your colors and you scribble. Now, you do need to be mindful of the colors you're using. That does make a difference. So all of these colors, like yellow and blue, these are both blue, make green, okay? So I know that these colors blend well together. What I don't want to do is take two colors that when mixed together are going to create a brown, okay? So I'll put this down, this down. I'm using these colors that are, you know, that will work well together. I'm putting the darker around the outside, the lighter on the inside, the darker on the outside. And again, using the side of my marker. And just playing, scribbling. All right, next up, we are going to add our water. So if you've got your cup of tea, cup of coffee, let's move it away from your water cup because it is very easy to accidentally put it in the wrong cup. So I'm going to start with my yellow and just kind of getting this yellow going on top. Going back to my water cup often, then I'm coming in with the green. Now with this, you could go straight over this. There's something that I think is kind of cool about kind of coming around it and leaving some of it white. And now you'll see at the end and you can decide if you like it or not. All right, so now I'm going to work my way to the outside. And what I don't want to do is once I get to the outside, I don't want to repaint the inside because this is such a strong color on the outside that it's going to, if you were to take this and paint this, it would all go to that dark color. So I don't want it to all turn dark. So I'm just going to kind of blend it right to that second layer of color and then stop. And I also leave a little bit of white around my edges as well. Okay, so now I've got all this color on my brush, and now I can go in on the inside of some of these and kind of fill in some of the white spot, but not all of the white spot. And it kind of looks cool because it's a little bit of a different color. So you see that this is a different color from this. And there's just something about that that adds a little bit of variety as we fill in these back areas. And then we just let it sit here and let it dry. And, you know, it hadn't taken us a whole lot of time. It is 23 minutes after 10 o'clock. So we've spent less than 30 minutes and been able to letter and journal, hopefully turn on some good music, to get messy and to paint. So I hope you, if you're not doing this live with us, I hope you find some time to do this at some point. You may find that this is a new form of something that you want to do every day. You might say, every day I want to do this. I want to letter and journal and paint. This same format. You could do it every day inside of a book like this or whenever you get to it. Letter and journal, scribble some markers, and color. So every day we're going to be doing some different things. Some will be easier. This is definitely on the easier spectrum. Some will be a little bit harder and have more supplies involved, but every day is gonna be piece and play this week, Monday through Friday. So I am excited for y'all to join us. If you are a Lettering Club member and you don't have a mixed media pad, if you've got any time today to go grab one, do so, because we will just be decorating the cover of a mixed media, or this one's a water. I have both mixed media and a watercolor pad, and I did a side-by-side comparison. And really, they both worked really well. The only difference I saw was that the watercolor pages are just a little bit thicker. And, you know, so that's that. But as far as what the material working on them and such, a mixed media pad or a watercolor pad. I like the spiral bound, or if you can get one, they're a little more pricey, but if you can get the kind that open up and like lay flat, that doesn't like fall over on each other, those are really nice too. But just something where you can work, you can dry, and you can flip the page and do something else. So that's it for today, y'all. If you want to join us for the kids little thing, we will be doing that at 11, so in about 30 minutes, and we're going to be using these same supplies. All right, y'all. I hope to see you either tomorrow or in just a little bit. All right. See ya.